Hello and welcome to 5 Minutes in the Shed. So it's been a couple of days. The reason it's been a couple of days is because I've been busy with work and stuff, and I had a friend over from California, friend and colleague over from California, Mr. Gasparini. Hello, giving you a shout out on YouTube. Thanks for popping by. Thanks for the tour of the shed and the advice on all the projects and stuff. Really great to see you. Okay, in the post I got a proper clutch puller to pull that clutch bus off, right? So as we know, I broke it because my 3-pronger snapped it. Bit gutted about that because they're 40 quid. All right, I've got the proper puller. Let's see if I can pull it off. Okay, I'm not even going to speed it up. I'm going to see if it works live. So here's the puller that screws into, it should screw into should screw into there. Nothing screws in when you're filming it. Right, that goes in there. Then that goes in there, and that one goes into there. Okay, so I've got to hold this like that, and then screw this in. Oh, there it goes. There it is. Sorry, that spanner was right by the microphone. Man, that was tight. Tight. Tight enough to break when you tried to pull it around the outside. Anyway, yeah, off. Awesome. So, 40 quid for a new one of them. Okay, so this side is clear now, apart from this cover. I'll get that in a minute. I think now, yeah, now we can take the pistons off. Let's cue the music. Pistons off. So there's the pistons. You know what, they're a bit dirty, but the rings are all free in them and stuff. So I think that one's a bit tight in that one. There's a lot of carbon buildup, so a bit of inspection to do on those. Obviously I'll measure the rings and stuff like that. Pistons look pretty good. Gudgeon pins, there was no up and down play in the engine. So small ends are probably okay, but I'll measure them anyway, just to make sure. This cheeky little monkey was pretty well stuck on. So yeah, got that off. That's the seal for the end of the crankshaft there, end of the gearbox shaft there. So I need to, I've taken the pistons off. I might need to hold them to undo that nut. Oh no, it's fairly loose actually. So I probably just need to hold the chain wheel. Now I can take that off, and that allows me to take the gearbox cluster out. So yeah, I think I'll take the gearbox cluster out first, get that put away, then I'll take the camshafts out. I think that's the order I'm going to do it. So yeah, that's the next thing. But I must admit, it's very cold in here tonight, so I might do it over 2 evenings. So yeah, that's probably enough for this evening. Got the problematic clutch part off. Oh, there goes my special tools over there. So that side's pretty much ready. Apart from that, and then I can turn it round and we'll get the gearbox out and we'll get the cams out, see what they're like, and the next stage then is splitting the cases. It's a big moment. So I don't know what to call it. You know what, I'm going to do a pause and then I'll carry on with this episode by the magic of television in a minute, but actually in reality tomorrow. Okay. Hello and welcome back to today, which is actually tomorrow from when you were watching the video a minute ago, which was yesterday for me. Hi. Right, so I was thinking about how to undo the rear drive chain sprocket, because if the engine was in the bike, then what I'd do is I'd just make sure the drive chain was on, press the back brake, unscrew it, no problem. That's probably the easiest way of doing it, right? That's probably what it says in the book. I haven't looked, but that's probably what it says in the book. However, this is all out, it's all free, right? And it all spins. So you got to find a way of holding that gearbox shaft or holding the sprocket while you undo the nut, and it's a big old nut. So I could use like my special tool rods, you know, and go in and screw into the socket and into the sprocket and hold it that way. But you know, it's a bit of a pain. So I've come up with a solution, and the solution I haven't tried yet, but I thought it's probably going to work, is I put the rear drive chain back on. I've got my engine sat on the bench, and I've screwed the chain to the workbench, right, so it can't go anywhere. And at that point, so the sprocket can't go around now, and I've got a socket for the sprocket socket, which goes on there, and as you can see, that can't turn because it's screwed to the bench. I'm just checking it wasn't going to do anything nasty, but it's not. So I should be able to go on that, and I should be able to, I will be able to, come on, oh, there we go. So these nuts, right, they're usually held on by a washer and a bent over flap to stop them coming loose. This one has had a dimple mark put in it to peen over the first couple of threads in between the splines on the shaft. So I think I'm going to have to spanner it all the way off. Yeah, I am, yeah. So there you go. As long as you've got a couple of wood screws, take these off, no problem. As long as you don't mind putting a couple of holes in your workbench, obviously. Yes, worked well. There we go. Nice. So, I wonder if I can show you. Oh, two. Actually. Yeah. So, let's see if we can get this on the camera. See the little dent in the side there, and there's one in that side there. They've been peened just to hold it on so it doesn't come off. Fair enough, one way of doing it, I suppose. Yeah, so that's off now. That's good. So now I need to unscrew the chain so I can get it off my workbench. Kind of made it a bit of a captive on here now. But this means now that this side of the engine is completely stripped down. like that. Nice. And then the chain should get jammed up like that and not want to come out. There we go. Go, come on, go on, go on. There we are. Right, good stuff. Very black hands now. Okay, so that side of the engine completely ready to go. Now we need to go on to the other side of the engine. So I'm just going to move some stuff out of the way. Like that. And the microphone. Sorry if this is really loud for the people at home. And then, okay. Right. So now, now we've got to take the cams out and take the gearbox out. I think the gearbox is going to be next because there could be some nasties in there from what we found on the outer cover. So yeah, gearbox next. I think it's time for some music. Okay, that's the gearbox out, and as expected, it is proper minging in there. Proper disgusting. However, there's no, I can't see any metallic debris or anything like that. You know, it's all right. It's okay. So, move that out of the way a minute. So the gearbox comes out on the lovely gearboxes. These are. They come out in one chunk, right? So you don't have to worry about, you know, some gearboxes you open them, it's like ding, and there's bits everywhere, and it's a nightmare. These come out in one lump, and they're quite nice. So I'll turn it around a bit so you can see it a bit better. Let me check the camera. Yeah, kind of. There you go. There's the gearbox. So that's where the rear drive sprocket goes there. Kickstart shaft is here, goes into the middle of this one here. This is the selector that your gear lever kind of pushes across. That's what changes the gears there. That's all running nice and smooth. Gearbox indicator on the top, pretty novel for Triumph. All these old bikes have a little unique selling point. Triumph has a little gear indicator on the top of the gearbox. Enfield have the neutral finder for when you come up to a stop. All kind of nice. Those neutral finders on Enfields are very nice actually. Anyway, so yeah, there's the gearbox out in one piece. So that needs to be disassembled, cleaned, checked, and then all put back together. So I'm going to do that another day. I'm going to put it with the rest of the gearbox bits over there. This spring and kind of pokey thing here sits in the back of the gearbox up there. That's the detent that holds the selector plate in position for when you change gear. So that's going to go over there with it. That's the bit that I'll forget to put in when I've reassembled it all. Then I have to take it all apart again to do it. So these, I'm just going to put the nuts on there so I remember where they go, because we'll forget. It goes in there. It goes in there. These screws, these are the ones that hold on that main end. Came out. They came out okay. They were tight. They came out all right. When you're doing these are like a cross-pointed head of a screw. They're a P1. They're Phillips number 3. Don't use posi drive on them because they'll chew. Make sure you get the one that fits absolutely perfect, otherwise you just chew them up. So they can go, see, I might just screw them back in where they came from, because then I know where they are. There we go. Did it come from there or did it come from there? Oh man, I can't remember. No, it goes in the corner. Not that it really matters. I'm just putting them in there for safekeeping. Right then, so transmission's out. That's good. That can sit there leaking oil everywhere. That's absolutely fine. Move my tools out of the way. Let's see if I can soak up some of that oil, because it stinks. Gearbox oil, stinky, horrible stuff. Put that in there, soak that up. Right, next job on the agenda is to take the cams out. These are these bad boys here. You can see on the video, let me check. Just about at the top of your screen. So I'm going to take these flat screws out of these and flat screws out of those. That takes those off. Yeah, then the cams slide out. So get a nice flat pointer, and I'm going to get those out. Right, and clean my hands. More music. Okay, so I just put time lapse on, and the idea was that you'd hear some music and you'd see me taking the cams out and all that, and forgot to press the button on the camera, so you missed it. Cams are out. Can you see them? You can't see them. Let me move it down a little bit. There we go. Cams are there. So what you missed was me with me snap-on screwdriver. I love the screwdriver. Undoing these screws and these plates which hold the cams in here. Alright, now these screws have got, if you can see, these screws and plates, should I say, extreme close-up time, they've got a little dimple there. Reach around, little dimple just in there where you dot punch it, so these screws don't sort of come loose. Now most of them just turned past it. If I put a bit of pressure on, they just crack loose, right? But when I was doing it, I had one. Was it this one? Yeah, that one. Which was at the top here, and someone had been very enthusiastic with the dot punch, and it had actually got it really hard, so I had to get a little, oh no, what did I just drop there? My magnet stick. So I had to get a little tiny 2mm drill and just drill it out and just drill that dot punch away, so I could get in and do it. Anyway, it's all on the video that I didn't press the play on, so you didn't get to see it. So that's that. So yeah, they came out. You slide them out of those holes, which is nice. This is the exhaust camshaft here. This end of it, the big end here, runs in the aluminium casing there. That's in pretty good condition. The other end of it runs in a bush. It's inside the other half of the casing there. On this one, there's quite a lot of pitting. If you can see where you can see the discoloration on the end of it. See that it's kind of like damage on that end. And the other thing that I've noticed, well, the important thing, right, is the cam lobes. And cam lobes are okay, but they've definitely had a bit of action. Right, let me see if I can get them to reflect and show you. No, not pretty good. Come on, focus camera. I don't know if you can quite see, but they're not bad, but definitely seen a bit of action. So I mean, you know, they're probably okay to go back in, but I'm not convinced. I'm going to see what cams are available, I think, before I make a decision on that. There might be somewhere I can grind them up, grind the profile on them for me. I don't know, I've never had it done before, so I need to look at that. The inlet, arguably, a bit worse. The end bushing on that one is good. The one that runs in the engine here is also very good. But let's see if I can. If I put the torch thing on, like that. Whoa! There we go. Can you see the damage on that cam there, on that cam face? So if you look at that bit there, it's pretty rough. I mean, not catastrophic bad, but it's bad enough. Bad enough for me anyway. I don't want to put it back in. So I need to see if I can get some cams, right? You know, racing cams, obviously. Yeah, so okay. They might have had a bit of a kick in, those bad boys there. Right then, next stage, which I will remember to film, because I've made that mistake once this evening, is do it off this. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. All right, on the end of the inlet cam here, you have a little spring which sits there like that, and then there's a little cup that goes over it with like little quadrants cut out of it, which turns round, and that relieves the, when the pistons go down, you build up pressure in the crankcase. So that relieves the pressure at the crankcase breather, which is underneath the engine. Now that's still in there. Can't go anything to get in and hook it out. I tried to hook it out. You'd have seen that on the video that I didn't film, but I couldn't get it out. So that's still in there, which is a shame. But yeah, it's still in there. Oh no, I thought that was damaged then. It's not, it's just dirt. Whew. So next step, I think we're at a point where we can split the cases, but I need to take all the bolts out. The two very difficult bolts when you're splitting the cases are, you wouldn't expect them. I don't think I'm going to put them back in because no one bothers anymore nowadays. Is let's see if I can move the thing down. Hang on. Right. So put that there. Right. I might even pick you up and go mobile. Right. There are two screws inside the engine. One there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, one there. And then one there, and that splits these two halves here, that one and that one, and they're the hard ones to do. So I'll probably be having a little bit of a fight with those, but that's the next step. So splitting the crankcases, bolts all the way around, those two in the middle, and then I'll see where I get to. Okay, total disassembly. Look at that. Right, crankcase is split, crank out. Crank came out quite well actually. It was tight enough not to worry about it, but not too tight that you have to fight it, right? So it was perfect. I've got my rubber mallet and I gave it a little knock and it slid off the bush end. So the bush end came off, so that's the gearbox housing and the timing chest side, which is this half of the engine. So that half of the engine, that bit. So that came off very nicely. That's just the bush, that side. This side, the drive side, is a bearing. So you can see in there there's a big bearing that it runs in. It's pretty tight on there, but I kind of got it and I just let it drop on its own weight a little bit like that, and I just pushed it out, which was lovely. And while I'm here, this is where the camshafts run, and I managed to get that breather valve that I was talking about out. So that's there. That sits on the end of the inlet camshaft, so I'm going to put that in there. And I think that's all the loose bits that are just going to go missing and fly everywhere. So now we've got the primary side off there. I think I'm gonna. I was going to say I'll inspect the bearings, but I will inspect the bearings. No, already that one feels rough. So the bearings are going to get main bearings are going to get changed. I think the bush is okay, but I'm going to change the seal main bearings while I'm in here, because you just do, right? No point going this far down and not changing them. We check the gearbox bearing and seal. What else? Oh, and sludge trap. Yeah, so the crank here, oh, big heavy unit. Inside it, this side. Oh, that looks really nice. I don't know if it looks like it's never been out ever, brand new. So what we've got here on the bush side here, that screw, you undo that screw, and behind that screw is a tube, and in the tube it's like a centrifugal catch pot for any crap that comes through it as it's injected through the crank. Usually they're rammed solid full of slime. So I'm going to have that out, clean that, because that's one of the main reasons for coming down this deep on the engine. The con rods feel cracking. I'm really good. There is side slides up and down the bearing, but they ain't going nowhere. There's no play in those at all. Feels great. I need to measure the small ends, but to be honest, the gudgeon pins felt pretty snug in those as well. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no play in those. Really good. And the gudgeon pins feel nice too. So I reckon majority of the engine is in pretty solid condition. I'll check the camshafts in the camshaft bushes at the end, but that feels alright. I was a bit worried about the exhaust because it was a bit gritty, and it is a bit gritty in there. So I'll give that a clean out and I'll check those. So yeah, parts washing time now. I mean, horrible job really, parts washing, but I'll get to it. I won't bother filming it because it's just a boring job of me parts washing. But what I will do is I'll film taking the sludge trap out, and we'll get that out and clean that up, make sure that's okay. And the rest of it is just me doing the washing up, which is probably the most boring video in the history of the world ever, isn't it, really? So I'll get everything clean, we'll get everything measured, and I'll get some. I'll put a list together what I need to order. That's going to be a big job, and then we'll start putting it back together. But yeah, cleaning and measuring first. Cleaning, measuring, and shopping. And in the meantime, I'll do a video on the sludge trap. So thanks for watching. Sorry you missed me taking the cams out. My bad. Didn't press the button on the camera. Have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye.